So we'll get started. So good morning, everyone. This is Vajra Devi. Morning. Yes, I got the heating slightly wrong this morning, so I'm all bundled up because it didn't come on when I thought it would. So I wanted to talk a little bit this morning before we sit about stability of awareness. We don't gain stability in this practice through a strong focus on one particular object, but more through what's called momentary samadhi. So I was listening to Sayadaw U Tejaniya. He's running a retreat on Zoom, but for some people in Malaysia at the moment. So I wanted to just pass on a couple of things that have struck me, sort of differences and all subtleties about what he's been saying, mostly connected with this stability of mind, this quality of stability in the mind. That's stability of awareness. And a phrase he used, he said, when talking about stability, what it means simply is that the mind is stable enough to know something of what is happening. So not knowing a particular experience, not knowing something specific, like we know the breath and the mindfulness of breathing, but simply stable enough to know some aspect of experience. So I think that the actual experience of this can vary. He's saying generally we're stable enough to know something, and that could be that we know one thing and then we know another thing. The awareness is coming and going, but maybe we know a couple of things and then we're not aware, or we might know many things in quick succession. And when we know many things in quick succession, it's can be tempting to think that we're not concentrating, as it were. We're not concentrating. We're not really. But actually, in this practice, it means that the awareness is going quite well, that we've got the ability to be able to see a lot of things in a short period of time. The awareness has enough steadiness to do that. But also it has a lot of flexibility, and that flexibility gives us quickness of mind. So part of the flavor, if you like, of the awareness is that it has this flexibility, quickness as part of the steadiness. I sometimes use the analogy of an orchestra, and it's a bit like that, where the mind can hear many different sounds in quick succession, one after the other. And it's a bit like that, but through different senses, when the mind is picking up objects through hearing, perhaps through seeing, or the touch sensations, as well as the mind. And with the mind is moving so fast anyway, so the ability to pick up sort of thoughts, intentions, perceptions, feelings is part of that ability. So it's a strong sort of capacity in the mind when the mind is stable enough to know in that way. So of course, formal practice, as we're going to be doing longer periods of time meditating, is a very good way to help us train the mind in knowing one moment at a time, as it were. But sometimes we don't have maybe time in our day to do that. The conditions are such, or we're traveling. There are lots of reasons why we don't have times for formal practice. And Sayadaw U Tejaniya made a couple of suggestions here. And I would say perhaps that also they could, of course, be in addition to a formal practice. So he was saying you could just choose to be present, to be aware, to know for a minute, an hour. Just taking a minute every hour to be present, to just connect with knowing. Or you could have a few 5-minute periods a day or 10-minute periods a day. And I think this is a really helpful instruction. But instead of turning to our phones when we sit down for, you come in from being out shopping or something, which is what I do, and I'll sit down for a few minutes. Just doing that without the phone in the hand. And yeah, for me, it's just looking out into the garden. Or times when we're not necessarily sitting, but we're doing something, a simple activity like the washing up or stacking the dishwasher, whatever it is you do. Taking those times to say, okay, this is practicing the mind being stable enough to know. So any and all of these ways are ways of cultivating stability, the ability for the mind to be settled enough to just simply know. And as you will know, that doesn't take much, really doesn't take much. It's not a special state, it's really just remembering to connect with what's happening now. Connect with what's happening now, and that the awareness can know that the awareness is working in the mind. So one more thing, and he was also talking, he was saying when right attitude is present, then stability is automatically present. We automatically have stability when we have a right way, a helpful way of being with experience. So 2 simple ways of talking about right attitude. One is when there's acceptance in the mind of what's happening, whether that's a preferred experience or not. It might be something that we don't find pleasant to be with, but there's an acceptance. This is what's here right now. That's very helpful to that quality of knowing, that stability in the mind. And the second thing is knowing that whatever is present is the result of cause and effect. It's not about whether we want it to be there or not, but it's simply a process of nature. The conditions are such that they've led to this moment where there's grumpiness in the mind, or there's some pain in the body or mind, or there's particular experience of hearing in the mind, which might be people passing by in the street outside, or the dog barking next door. Conditions have brought this experience into being, and a recognition that what's happening is not dependent upon likes or dislikes can really help the mind let go of any aversiveness it's bringing to that experience, or any craving for it to happen again. So training the mind in this quality of acceptance and a recognition of cause and effect. And this gives rise to qualities like appreciation, an appreciation for whatever's arising, and equanimity in the mind that is open and balanced and receptive and wise. And I think appreciation, I'll just maybe flag that one up particularly, it really brings happiness to the mind when we're appreciative of what, just the fact that we're aware, we have the ability to know whatever's happening. The experience is secondary to that ability to know to stabilize the awareness on whatever's happening. Okay, so I'll leave it there. Let's turn off the recording.